Good morning and welcome to my first ever LEGO review of set 75373 Ambush on Mandalore. Well, is this worth $25? Let's find out. First of all, the basics. The set costs $25, has 109 pieces, and includes 4 minifigures, which we'll have a closer look at right now. Alright, so with this set, you get 2 different Mandalorian figures. A Mandalorian Night Owl on your left and a Mandalorian Warrior on your right here. Both figures are pretty much the same, but they have slightly different printing. With the Mandalorian Night Owl, you can see the marking directly on the helmet. They have torso and leg printing, but no arm and side printing. And what I do notice is here that you have some fight marks, which I like and is realistic, on the front of the helmet, but as you turn the figure around, all of them disappear, and that is to me not realistic, as there should be fight marks all around the helmet and not just in the front. They also have a visor and a rather regular jetpack. The Mandalorian Warrior, on the other hand, is, as I said, pretty much the exact same figure as the Night Owl, just with slightly different printing, and still the same issue with no fight marks on the back of the helmet. So with this set, you're also given 2 identical Imperial Commander Troopers. Both of them are very rich in terms of their printing details on the torso and the legs, but don't have any on the side or arms. Nonetheless, the helmet looks very good and is well rounded. But the highlight of this figure is its back, because of the jetpack and how LEGO approached to give it so much detail. Because in this case, it's not a sticker, it's a printed 1x1 tile that you can simply stick on the back of the jetpack, and that gives it so much more extra detail and is a welcome addition to my army. Now there's still one thing that I would want to mention. Well, what happens if you lift the head? Well, brother from another mother, what's going on here? If you look at this, first thing that comes to my mind is a soulless demon, not flying around on a broomstick, but in fact on a jetpack. Like, what's going on here? Like, there's nothing to this. Like, is there just soulless people hiding in all of these helmets? Guess what? Yep. The Mandalorians and the Imperial Commanders. All of them. Not a single face. Now, I would understand that with perhaps of the Mandalorian, you can argue, well, by Kree and the Night Watch. Well, first of all, this is not the Night Watch, okay? Because these here are the Mandalorian Night Owls, okay? And they're led by Bo-Katan, and even the Mandalorian itself, she's taking off her helmet, and you can see somebody there. And with the Imperial Commanders, maybe I'm a little bit more soft than that because they usually don't take their helmets off. But even then, it's a playset. Include a face so that you can take off the helmet and play out some scenes. It ain't that hard. So in the set, you're also given a turret that functions as a set shooter and a box with 2 printed bombs or hand grenades and detonators. So that's always a nice little trinket. Well, now on to the actual playset. Well, to me, if you look at this, this just looks like some rocks thrown together to make you feel like the set is worth $25. Really, if you remove the turret and the box, there's not much to it. If you flip it around, there's 0 decoration. I don't know if you can consider a weapon stand a decoration, and it just looks even more shallow from the back. Now, there is a radical and extremely innovative play feature that LEGO does not fail to highlight on their box art, and that is that you can take one of your soulless witches, Mandalorians I should say here, sorry, and you can stick them on here, and then you can fly this guy around. Wow. Yep. That's the play feature of this set apart from the stud shooter. When you look closely, you may have noticed that there's a connecting piece on either end. Well, what can you do with that? Well, in all seriousness, the idea is to connect set 75386 just by pushing the 2 connecting pins here together. And boom, you have a greater set now? Well, I think the idea behind it is kind of nice and cool, that you can extend and expand, but it just looks so unfinished because there's just a massive gap here that no matter how you turn or place it, it's still there, and it just ruins this impression of a continuous landscape. And that's why I feel like this is a really unfortunate and not well thought through execution of expanding different sets together as a different unit. But guess what? This connecting pin can't only be connected to the previous set, but also to an exact duplicate. And I'm not making this up. This is something that was actually advertised in the back of the instructions manual. If I look at this, I feel like, well, that's one heck of a landscape that has more gaps than somebody who's never cleaned their teeth in their entire life, and that is also equally repetitive. To me, this just looks so poor, and I think this is just such a poor idea to upsell somebody on buying this set another time. Now, is this worth $25? I'd say don't pay list price for it. And here's why. When you buy a battle pack, you primarily buy it for the minifigs. In this case, you don't get 4 minifigures, you get 4 soulless demons, not flying around on broomsticks, but jetpacks instead. For that amount of money, you should at least get full faces because it is a playset at the end of the day. Or at least you would hope that the remainder of the set has something to offer. But in this case, it's just stones thrown together to make you believe that you should pay $25 for 4 minifigures. Well, I should say minifigs. So in that case, what I would recommend is, if you really want to have Imperial Commander Troopers and Mandalorians, and you want to have more than, I'd say, 2 of each, in 2025, wait until the set goes on sale. I've recently seen it as low as like roughly $18, and that's a point where it becomes better for your value and more reasonable for you to purchase it. Until then, stay safe, and I look forward to seeing you at my next review. Bye-bye.